let's go, because you know what I came here to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
Bob Arum telling Alex KRASSYUK to shut up. You know, they're not getting the Saudi money. He's acknowledged that. It's either the Saudis don't want to do the deal, or the timelines that Bob has in mind and what they have in line are at odds. Or they can't build a stadium or arena in time for the April 29th date that Bob has in mind. It has to be said that Eddie doesn't have the issues with the Saudis that Bob and Frank Warren seems to have. I don't know why that is. Now, Bob is telling Alex KRASSYUK, he's a nice guy and he's Ukrainian. I don't know what that's got to do with it. But he should shut up and not negotiate in the press. Bob said he will not negotiate this fight in the press even a little. The negotiations have to be behind the scenes. The USEC people, because I know his manager, Aegis Klimas, we have a lot of people that he manages that we promote. He's a terrific guy, very sensible. We can come to an understanding with him, so I'm not going to talk about percentages and statements, because once you start negotiating in the press, it all falls apart. Then the ego of people comes to fore, and that trumps common sense. So let it be behind the scenes. I'm sure we'll put it together and hopefully an announcement shortly. He, KRASSYUK, was negotiating in the press. I am not going to negotiate in the press. I'm very optimistic because of who we're dealing with and the kind of calendar, it says, do they mean caliber of people they are, that will be able to put this fight to bed. Sounds good, but wasn't it ARUM who midway through January was telling us that a 50-50 purse split is not right if Tyson Fury's undisputed title fight with Alexander Usyk takes place at Wembley, as he claims the Gypsy King deserves the lion's share for bringing in 95,000 Brits and higher pay-per-view figures. Now, is that not negotiating in public? Isn't he trying to get the British public on side that Tyson Fury deserves a bigger split? So let's say Usyk walks away from the fight or Fury walks away from the fight because neither get what they want. He's trying to get the British public on side to say, yeah, well, Tyson was right to walk away. And Usyk's stuck in the fight. He doesn't deserve 50-50. That's negotiating in public. What else is it? Bob Arum is full of crap. All KRASSYUK was doing is responding to Bob Arum and what Bob had to say about no way can Tyson Fury get 50-50. You're negotiating online and he's responding online. He's using the same negotiating platform that you are. Online. You started it. Now you're telling the man to shut up. See, Bob is banking on a few things. That either Team Usyk do not understand the importance and value of this fight, which they do. They understand that Tyson Fury not being able to sell out White Hart Lane against Derek Chisora is because it wasn't a popular choice of opponent in the boxing fans' eyes. They understand the 95,000 that Bob Arum is saying is going to flood through the gates to watch Fury fight Usyk is contingent on that undisputed fight. Bob is also thinking that perhaps I've got them over a barrel. If they don't take this fight, where can they go? I mean, Usyk is in a huge draw. These are the kind of things Bob will be banking on. Bob needs to know the pressure is on him to make the fight more than Team Usyk. Frank Warren needs to know that Simon Jordan is nobody, and he can't save you from the boxing fans' rage if you don't get that fight across the line because you're insistent on being greedy. Let's face it.
And when people talk about, oh, he'll never fight Wilder, he'll fight Wilder. Trust me, he'll fight Wilder. Fury, don't be surprised. He may fight Fury next. We'd be open for that fight. If Usyk doesn't fight Fury, AJ will fight Fury next in the summer, if he gets through, frankly. How about that? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. He will.
He's also, Eddie, started talking about Joshua, similar to your offer, I suppose. Joshua stepping in to fight Fury if the Usyk fight doesn't happen. He said about the summer. Is this just publicity or is this something that really could happen?
Do you know what? I wouldn't want to go down that road again. I mean, we wasted a lot of time and, I don't care. I know that you got the haters out there, you got the people who think, who's telling the truth. We were telling the truth. And I think the one person who did tell the truth at the end was Frank Smith, when he said all along he was never going to be ready for this. That's because, you look at it, he never had a trainer or anything. So what on earth were we negotiating for to fight in December? It's just a waste of everybody's time. Tyson won't even entertain it at the moment. I don't even want to bring up Anthony Joshua's name to him.
Fair enough.
So he's saying Anthony Joshua didn't have a trainer. Well, why did Tyson Fury call him out? If you knew he didn't have a trainer and he wasn't ready for the fight, this was a publicity stunt. They tried to build up the Chisora fight or the Manuel Charr fight and make Joshua look bad at the same time. That's why you gave Joshua 2 weeks to agree, while Chisora had the majority of last year. Early last year, he turned down a contract and said, nah, it's not enough, forget about it. And he still ended up getting the fight in December. Shortly after when Tyson Fury fought Dylan, when was that, around May? They offered Derek Chisora the fight. Derek said, no, I'm not taking that. Well, how comes he didn't blow Derek off? You're wasting our time. He still got the fight. Why? Cheap as chips. $3 million purse, and not the same threat that Anthony Joshua possesses. So if you were to tell me neither team was serious about that fight, I'd say, you know something? I'm not even going to argue with that. But if you're going to try and say Team AJ, nah, not rolling with that, bro. It was clout chasing. And Eddie Hearn telling Coogan that AJ will fight Fury in the summer if the Usyk fight falls through is clout chasing. They have to work a little harder to sell this Franklin fight, to sell the tickets and the pay-per-view. The difference is, though, is AJ and Eddie do want to make the fight. They do want to make that Fury fight, but they have to get past Franklin first. And hopefully Joshua looks good doing it too. There's a lot of pressure on Joshua. What makes me laugh is Frank Warren believing he has a say whether AJ and Fury happens. If Fury beats Usyk, if AJ beats Franklin. Like he has a say in it. You don't have a say in it. ARUM will decide. ARUM will decide. And isn't it funny that once again, Frank Warren's thoughts are contradicting ARUM's? A couple of days ago, after Eddie said that AJ will fight Fury if the Usyk Fury fight falls through, they asked Bob Arum about his interest in matching Fury against Anthony Joshua. Arum said that's a possible fight that can take place later this year, provided AJ wins his next contest against the American Jeff Franklin. So Bob Arum will decide. Frank Warren don't have that kind of power. You do what Bob says. Look, rumor has it, Frank's aging. He's done his time. He's made his mark. And George Warren is going to be stepping in. Where do you think Eddie was coming from with AJ will fight Fury if the Usyk fight falls through? He's been speaking to George Warren. They talk a lot. That's where he got it from. George and Francis, they're a lot more hands-on than they have been previously. Because Frank knows, look, I have to hand over the reins soon. I don't think Frank will ever hand over the reins totally. He's not as submissive as Barry in that respect, in letting his son, or sons in Warren's case, take over. Even if Fury loses to Usyk, AJ and Fury at Wembley is a huge fight. Let's take a quick look at nepotism. Because some people, oh yeah, your dad put everything on your lap. It's not as simple as that, It really ain't as simple as that. Let's say we take the nepotism out of it. Who could have done a better job at taking over Barry's business than Eddie? Now, I know you're going to say he's done a crap job, but he hasn't. He hasn't. That's the truth. He hasn't. Who could have done a better job? And I'm thinking, if Frank, let's say, gives George and Francis the stage and he takes a back seat, George could possibly eclipse Frank. He's embracing everything. He's seen all what Eddie's doing. See, Frank is blinded by his anger and his rage and his how dare you youngster. He's also impeded by what worked for him in the 80s and 90s and was very successful to the transition from that to the internet. George, he's looking at Eddie flying all over the place saying, something, I could do that. I could do what Eddie's doing. Trust me, George is studying the whole shit. He's saying, hold on, Eddie ain't doing that. I actually fucking got a degree in what he's not doing there. I'm going to do that and that and that and that. Yeah, I can do Queensbury International, USA, Australia. I can do that. Oh, yeah, I got contacts there. I know how to do that. He's spotting all the things that Eddie and other promoters ain't doing right now. And plus he's got all the fucking shit that he's learnt from Frank as well. And yeah, sometimes nepotism goes horribly wrong. I haven't got no examples, but it can go horribly wrong. But it looks like George has got his head screwed on. And Francis. Looks like they've got their head screwed on. But we'll see. Look at Callie and Nice. They're running Channel 5 now. Sometimes they got a gig on Sky. Sometimes on Dazn. Nepotism. Their old man is Wilfred Sauerland. He started the Sauerlands over there in Germany. And we can clearly see that Callie's a bit of a party boy. But he's handling his business at the same time. He's handling his business. And Nice is the more straight-laced. Todd Dubois, Bob Arum's stepson. He's the president of Top Rank. Don King, his stepson as well. That's a bit of a coincidence. Carl King. Don groomed him properly, right? another story for another day. The DAZN price increases. I'm watching this Michael Benson tweet. Flexible pass is now $24.99 per month. Monthly saver, which they refer to as the times 12, is $19.99 per month. And the annual super saver is $224.99 yearly. Somebody responded and said it started at $10 per month. DAZN said they wouldn't increase the prices. They really said that? They've never increased the prices? I hardly believe that. Maybe they did. DAZN actually replied to this individual and said the subscriptions are there to give flexibility to the consumer. You know, like the Super Saver 224, monthly saver, flexible pass. Yes, it's a considerable price hike. The problem, I think, is they started very cheap. I mean, it was £1.99 out here. £1.99. I can't really argue with people who are dissatisfied. You've got to do what's right for your budget, what you prioritize, what you want. And if you can't afford it, then, you know, you have to do something with your time, something else. It's not that big a deal. It's not like food, clothes, and shelter, is it? It's not an issue like that. You can always illegally stream it or get the YouTube highlights. I mean, it's not that big. It really isn't that big a deal to me in the grand scheme of things as an adult. It just isn't. I mean, in the 90s, there were times I had Sky, and then there were other times I didn't have it. There was one time I was watching the Commonwealth Games and my satellite signal went out. This is early 90s. Because at the time, I couldn't really afford it. So I just left it. I didn't start screaming, oh, the prices are too much. I went on about my life and waited until I could afford it again. I mean, the rage, some of the comments. You can feel the rage in some of the comments that people make. You're thinking you're really this angry about it. I can't do nothing about that. I'm not here to argue with a bunch of angry dudes over the pricing of the streaming app. I'm not here to argue. That's not my purpose in life, man. It's not my purpose in life. I can understand the Americans' discontent a little more because I was saying it, they're not really familiar with Lee Wood or Mauricio Lara. They want to see Errol Spence and Danny Garcia and Deontay Wilder. They want to see them guys. Boots Ennis. They want to see them guys. They don't want to see Joshua Boazzi versus Bivol. They've got no interest. Or John Ryder versus Canelo. Conor Benn. Lee Wood versus Mauricio Lara. These fights are of no interest to them. So I understand that. And I was speaking about it actually in my last video. The question is how much of them are going to pay out for, let's just say, a Wilder pay-per-view, which more than likely won't be against Andy Ruiz. How much do they have to pay to watch Wilder versus Robert Helenius? They'll have to pay out for that. No matter who they put in front of Tank, Ryan Garcia, Jerry Garcia, you're paying $70 for Tank's pay-per-view. Caleb Plant versus Benavidez, that's a pay-per-view. That's £200 already in pay-per-view revenue. So it just depends how much you're willing to pay for the pay-per-views over there or how much a DAZN subscription is worth to you, because they do more content than just boxing. I don't expect the price hike to be received well in America. I don't. I mean, if they cried and moaned about the hike in the UK and it's nowhere near as severe as what's in the US, it's not going to go down well. Why they've did it? You have to take that up with Joe Mikowski. All these people who started bitching from the UK, technically, you wouldn't really call this a price hike, because if you can pay the annual package, it's £8 plus a month. A couple of pence more than the £7.99 it previously was. But America, that's double and more. I don't do maths like that, but it's double and more. And you have to ask why they did that. Because they must know that people are going to be unsubbing in numbers after that price hike over there. Now, I don't know if I've come up with something here, but Amazon Prime is an American company. They've struck a deal with DAZN. The partnership will give Prime Video customers access to DAZN's live and on-demand sports content for an additional monthly fee. The service rollout begins Thursday with Spain and Germany and will continue through the year with Japan next in line. Now, that was in January the 19th. I don't know when that kicks in America, but it looks relatively cheap. There's one package here where you can just pay monthly $14.99. The annual package is $139, that's after the trial. The Prime Student monthly is £7.49, and the qualified government assistance package is $6.99. So maybe that is what they're looking to transition into, and this price hike thing now. It will be just if you just want to purchase Dazn and don't want to mess with Amazon Prime. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't know. I don't work there. If Ring IQ is going live later on this evening, I will hopefully jump on and discuss it. And I'm going to be honest, I'll be scathing if necessary. And if I want to talk in favor of the app, I'll talk in favor of it as well, as an adult. It's as simple as that. But in the UK, we didn't really get a price hike. You know what I mean? If we're truthful, we didn't really get a price hike. The truth is, though, if you can't pay the year up front, and let's say you got kids and other commitments, if you can't pay the year up front, should you be taking that £10 a month paying for sport or boxing? If your times are that hard, you need to use that money very resourcefully for a rainy day. And I'm not being condescending. I'm being truthful with you. You see, I'm not trying to impress nobody. Oh, look at me, I can afford it. No. If I believe my money is better served without Dazn, I won't pay for it. I won't pay for it. I don't have the authority to tell you what you can talk about or what not. But here's the thing. It's not like them putting up the prices of the gas when you need to heat your house in the winter. You have no choice unless you want to die of hypothermia. But the truth is, as long as you've got a gadget and some Wi-Fi, even if you don't see a lot of the boxing events live, you will see replays, highlights. You'll see enough. More than enough, considering you can't afford to pay subscriptions. You're seeing way more than we did in the 80s for a start, when all we had was terrestrial television. So I don't feel sorry for people who can't afford it. No, I don't. If they're telling me they can't afford to heat their house, they can't afford to eat and all shit like that, okay, I have empathy for that. But no, not for watching boxing or sport. No, I'm sorry. No, not for me. No, but sometimes we have to do without. Well, I'm entitled. Fair enough. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to pay for it for you? I feel sorry for the mother and the father, or the parent who has to work, and they may need a vehicle for their work. They may need a car or a van, but you have to pay for a permit just to park outside your own fucking road now. You see, that is robbery, and that is treachery from the government and them things there. I take them things very seriously. But when I hear football fans moaning and complaining, oh, they've commercialised the game, we can't go to football games no more because we can't afford a season ticket. Well, they still got Match of the Day on at 10:30 or 11 o'clock every fucking Saturday. Go watch the highlights and satisfy with that. Or get a satellite package and you can watch live games. Or go watch Haringey Borough. If you're a Tottenham fan and you can't afford to go to Tottenham home games, go watch Haringey Borough. They've got a stadium and it's a lot cheaper. You could take a family of 5 and maybe spend £50 for the afternoon. Don't say that ain't cheap. That's cheap. I'm talking about food and everything. Entry into the ground. Transport shouldn't be no issue if you're local. I don't care if people think I'm a bit of an earful. That's not a problem to me. I know a lot of people relate to what I'm saying. Quality of time is more important than what you're spending financially. Quality of time. You get more than enough boxing. Probably too much. Things don't happen randomly. If you follow your third eye, something is telling you you don't need boxing right now. You need to focus on other things. That's what you need to do. Start a course, finish it. Start college, finish it. Start uni, finish it. Start gym. Be consistent. Enjoy your life, but take it serious too. Be real. If I ever get the chance to pitch my idea to someone with some authority, and that's for all British fights to be broadcast on terrestrial television, I will pitch that. I think that would be a great start, so everyone can see a bit of quality boxing, British title fights, free to air, and I've been saying that for a long time. But all this entitlement shit, nah, miss me with that. Go to some other channel with that. Go take your frustration out somewhere else. The entitlement shit, nah, I'm not with it.